let's do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's dig in. So last week we talked about SEO, and we gave 3 simple tips, and that spurred some conversations and questions.
As expected.
Right. So some of the conversations we had with our viewers and our clients afterwards were, well, how do I even know if I'm ready for some SEO, or if that's something that I should do? Or, other people asked, well, how do you even tell if your website, what you should make changes on your website, what really matters, what really doesn't? And so we thought, we have a tool for that. We have ideas, right? So today we want to talk to you about a thing called a website audit. And this is something we're just going to kind of get you started with it today. We may do some future videos on the details and break it down a little bit more. But a website audit is just an in-depth analysis of your website. And generally, we try to cover 2 aspects with that. So there's the technical side, and then there's the design side. So this is something that can help you kind of decide if you need SEO work, if you need to kind of work on your user friendliness, which is a big factor, right? But the technical side just ensures that there's no critical errors, right? So it looks at an array of factors. I'm not going to go into details on what all of those terms are.
We'd be here for a very long time.
There's a lot of them, and they're so technical. So today we want to keep it simple and break it down in a way that you understand the benefits of starting with one of these and using it as a tool to determine where you go from there.
Yeah, we don't want to sound like the parents and teachers from Charlie Brown, where it's like, wah, wah, wah.
And so the user experience is all about just making sure that the people who are coming to your site are able to engage with it and get the information that they want and need and navigate it in a really seamless way.
Yeah.
Now, when we talk about website audits, there are just a few different pieces of your site that need to be looked at, just kind of at a bare minimum.
Yeah, the first one is site health. And yes, I said the word health.
Right? So, we're not going to make sure that its cholesterol is nice and low. We are going to make sure that there's no critical errors. So think of it kind of like as a checkup at the doctor, though, not to be funny, but it is kind of similar. You want to make sure that your site is nice and healthy. There aren't broken links. There aren't technical errors that are, signaling to the search engines.
The behind the scenes is up to date. There's nothing pending, or those funky little notifications that, are like, we need to do this now. The cache, making sure the cache.
Right. Yes. All kinds of behind the scenes functions that make it operate smoothly. Another thing is security. So making sure that it's nice and secure. It's not easily hackable.
It's very important. I think that's one of the most things that people don't think about is someone hacking the site. Bank account, all that stuff you think about, but a website?
Well, now with websites, you think about all the different features and things that people use their websites for. So,
especially if you're product based.
Right. If you have any kind of products on there, or people are able to book an appointment with you and put payment information, you don't want nefarious characters getting in there. And I love that word, nefarious. And you don't want nefarious characters getting in there and finding that information that puts you as a business owner at a huge risk. And that's, you don't want that PR.
No, and there can also be funky people out there who just decide to take everything, and then you're left with a blank slate all over again. And if you have the time to redo it, right, bless your soul. Or if you paid someone, bless your soul again, you're gonna have to pay for that to fix it.
What if they lock you out?
Oof. They change all your passwords.
Ew, that's
we can
a
go
mess.
on and on. Maybe we'll have a separate episode about
site security.
Safety.
Yep. So what's the next one?
Content.
So content, we just take a look at your pages, make sure you have a nice word count, that you have the right content, you're using the right keywords and phrases and
And size optimization, like we talked about last week.
Right.
Making sure that, it's not slowing down your site, making sure that everything's in there, making sure it also makes sense to be there.
Right.
I think that's a big one.
You're not missing any opportunities either.
That's
so
it.
if you're a service-based business and you do business in Williamsburg, but there is no mention of Williamsburg on your website, that's a piece of content that could be added, or a landing page at least that could be added, or something of that nature. We also look at site speed. We talked about site speed and how important that is in search engine rankings last week.
Yes.
So refer back to the last episode for more details on that.
Backlinks.
So links from other sites back to your website. One of the biggest factors when I say biggest factors, what I mean is in the top 200, because there's so many factors from search engines like Google. So I know backlinking is a great strategy for rising up in search engine rankings.
Which is the last one, search engine optimization.
Yeah, so looking at some of the other pieces of, now I'm going to talk in technical terms, so bear with me here a second. If you have questions about what these things are, drop them in the comments. I'm gladly give you some definitions.
We have a little cheat sheet that I can upload into the comments later today.
Yes, we do. So there's, meta descriptions, header title tags, alt attributes. Those are kind of three key ones, main ones. But there's a bunch more of things that optimize you for search engine rankings.
Nerdy words,
nerd alert. And then in some instances too, a site audit, depending on your business and your goals in your industry, you might also want your site audit to look at conversion rates. So if people are not converting and purchasing after visiting your landing pages or your shop pages, taking a look at why those conversion rates aren't as optimal as you want.
Yeah, and your bounce rate, your social media presence as well. It just depends on your goals. If you have a social media strategy, how does that align with your website strategy? And is that something that's important for you to edit?
Yeah, and then another piece is, that sometimes is included is looking at your competitors and seeing what their sites are doing, what's working, some just to start. You're not like gonna copy paste anything, right?
Right, but see what's working for them, what's working better for you. Does their site have a more optimized flow to the way a person would, I guess, travel? There you go, navigate through it. It's just examples of other people's, but please do not copy.
So don't do that. So those are kind of the basics of what a site audit might include or should include. But the thing is when you're doing the site audit, you're not just looking, you're documenting that process. Okay, so like putting together a report that then allows you to make those crucial decisions that you need to make. Like, am I going to, I apologize. Am I going to hire a SEO company to put together a strategy for me now? Or do I need to give my website a makeover, just a design makeover? So the findings in that report, you can compile that information, put a little report together. If you are not the business owner, it's always nice to be able to have some kind of lovely little presentation to hand to that person.
We do audits and we design them and we do the strategy. I think a lot of times people, when they think of marketing and creative, they don't realize that a lot of times we do written documents. I think they're like, oh, it's all images. And
no, we'll get
paperwork.
We'll get nerdy. We'll get technical if you want us to. We are down for an array of services. So if you're interested and you're like, I don't want to spin my wheels on this, but I'm interested in it, we're going to do a special for our viewers today. So all you have to do is mention this episode to receive a 25% discount on a website audit from us. And the pricing depends on how large your website is, so there's a range. But that offer expires August 31st, so 2020.
That's a good amount of time.
So if you're interested in it and you're like, this could be really beneficial to me, reach out, let us know. Drop your comments, send us a message, send us an email, info@createactivate.com. And hopefully this is a great introduction to your new best friend, the website audit.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's such a helpful thing to do. And even if you're not considering either getting SEO services or any of that,
if you're considering getting a website redone, or you've had a couple of companies offer or anyone tell you, this is a great way to see, do I really need to redesign? Do I just need to update? There's just something not working and I can't figure it out. This is a great tool to put into place.
Also, if you don't want to do any of that, but just doing this on a pretty regular basis. So at a minimum, auditing your website a couple times a year. Just going through, making sure everything's functioning and looks great is always a good idea, just to keep an eye on it. So that's it for Website Audits 101, a guide to getting started. And I'm so happy that I'm here in person with Kara today.
I know.
It's great. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hope you found this information to be helpful. If you want to learn more about anything that we mentioned today, please let us know in the comments, or like or heart this video, and we will make sure that we integrate some more of these types of things into our Fri Yays. All right. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Bye.